Welcome to Basibiyalo. In the process of talking about various issues of the nation and of the globe itself, I have taken many guests from different sectors, someone from academia, someone from law, someone from entertainment and all in the same process. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome here in our studio Prithivi Natha Rai. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Bishwa sir, for inviting me in your this very beautiful program. I'm quite happy today.
Talking about yourself, what can I tell you? You've got various sectors. You are a constitutionalist, an academician, an advocate, a social worker, or human rights activist and all. Did I leave out anything else?
Exactly not true because we have to work hard for in our life. So the way I'm doing nowadays as a teacher, as a lecturer, I'm teaching different colleges. Okay, and the same time and as a good professional, I have to work for my office too, and I have to go to court for advocacy. And at the same time, there are so many discrepancies in the society, and I have to advocate for those discrepancies and anomalies too. That's why you may sometimes tell me as a social activist, so you are.
Thank you. Let me start with a very common question that majority of people are willing to know. Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes, justice delayed, justice denied. Good.
How far is it easy for commoners or common people to get justice in the context of Nepal?
Yes, justice is justice denied, and idea and the principle philosophy is basically associated with the access to justice, and everyone should get justice on time. But in the context of our country or any other countries too, sometimes what happens in judiciary or justice, the rule of justice to be administered, in a very fair and very justifiable way. But in the context of our country, it is not up to the mark. As we have observed the scenario of that today's judiciary and all the lawyers, role of the lawyers and executive and legislative. If you go through this, you can easily, guess what sort of situation is going on over there, and you might be willing to draw the same things over here too. And basically, it should not have been like that. But the
But it has
way
happened.
judiciary is, playing the role, functioning as a as an independent judiciary, impartial judiciary, and competent judiciary. So far, administration of justice is concerned, it has not been to that extent, and there are so many, the catalytic factors which have, caused so many issues and creating.
In a simple way, there are so many
discontent.
complexities,
Yeah.
or there are so many, this networks that has hindered the delivery of justice. I mean to say intricacies
Yeah.
that commoners have to pass before they get justice, right?
Yes, of course. The commoners, they are deprived from getting the justice on time. Because there has been a lot of
Fair and foul means.
a lot of discrepancies in judiciary and the role of especially lawyers, so-called lawyers, that mafia lawyers. They have been involved in a different sort of
illegal activities, so to say.
criminal, political nexus, sometime criminal judiciary nexus, criminal legislative nexus, and because of all this sort of nexus and syndicate system of delivery of justice is concerned, when it continues regularly, and there is no any sort of regulatory body, and there is no any sort of check and balance, right? And if thing goes that way time and again, and commoners may not have privilege to have justice on time, and justice is being manipulated by those so-called elite people and elite lawyers, especially. They have been manipulating the law on their one way, and they are trying to capture the law in their one way, and they are manipulating for the sake of their one benefits, political benefits.
All right, Mr. Rai, I have understood that, but the point is that you have always raised voice against the system of justice. I saw you many times, even this in the gate of the court, raising your voice for the sake of betterment, and you have, contributed pretty much, whenever there is injustice.
Correct.
Once I saw you with a broom. A symbolic notion, a symbolic activity.
Symbolic activities of sweeping the corrupt people from the judiciary and sweeping the people, those syndicated lawyers in mafia lawyers and the mafia group, in all those people who have been the great deadlock to dispense the justice in a fair and appropriate manner so far as justice is concerned. And because of all those things, that actually we all have to raise our voices for justice. And in judiciary, from the very beginning, we often talk about purification and kind of restructuring of judiciary, right? And but those people who are raising the voice, they are in a mainstream who are gerrymandering the philosophy of justice, and they have been the main cause of that justice is in great crisis today, and we are there to raise the voice. And when time comes, we have been raising the voice, even if we are in a minority. Okay, that we will raise the voice.
That's great. Let me get into the recent issue. Is it a good idea for this temporary government, so to say? Is it a good idea for this temporary government to bring forth the ordinance, because the new government is yet to get formulated?
Yeah, that's a good idea. That very nice question you have raised now, because ordinance is actually executed when there is a vacuum of law, and ordinance is often required to be executed and implemented and enforced when the basic goods are in a crisis to be delivered. Okay,
but the present scenario indicates that the ordinance is a loophole to release the criminals.
Yeah.
So
rightly.
Doesn't it give rise to lawlessness in the country?
Yeah, that's good. That's the idea of law, philosophy of law, objective of law. The purpose of law, end of law is to deliver the justice, and that law is to create the harmonious relationship in between the people, citizen, and nation. Okay, and within little friction and least waste. Okay, so that sort of idea, greatest happiness of the largest number of the people living in the society, right? But this kind of ordinance,
just for releasing the political criminals.
they are trying to introduce today is not exactly the objective intention of justice is to function in the society so as to create peace, harmony, okay, security, tranquility, and many more. It's not like this. There is political vested interest. They are trying to bring the ordinance in a way so that they will have majority to form the government. They can form the government
by releasing those people behind the bars.
Those people, okay, releasing people from the jail
is not a big issue.
Yeah, it's not a big issue.
But the intention
principal intention behind the village.
Yeah.
What's that principal factor that we have to recognize? Whether it is for the society, whether it is for the nation, or whether it is for the vested interest of the political parties, point to be noted. Okay, so they are doing today to uplift their political values or to
just to form the government as they want. Yeah.
To be
just
benefited.
To form the government as they want.
The government.
And
okay, to bring majority in forming the government. That's why they're gonna bring this, introduce this, ordinance, and it's not fair at all. Okay.
So the duty of lawyers,
the people who are quite genuine, but they have been detained because of political reasons in the past, like Resham Chaudhary and other, isn't it? Some extent, many people are over there.
Can they release all of them?
There is one saying, let the 1,000 people away from the jail, but one innocent people should not be victimized. Okay. If it is so,
let thousands of people be away from
jail. Makes no difference.
That doesn't make any
one
difference.
innocent people should not be detained.
One innocent person should not be detained.
Jailed, or should not be abused, or should not be charged, and should not be punished. Isn't it?
Okay.
That's the principle of justice, philosophy of justice, right? But here, what they are trying to do is, they are trying to have majority government with an intention of introducing the ordinance and bringing all those the powers from where they can, isn't it? It is called political criminal nexus.
Okay, so political criminal nexus. Fine, we'll talk about it later as well. Let me go a little bit away from this subject matter. Anyway, after all, it is a subject matter of law. What do you have to say about the Chief Justice case recently?
No, we have been speaking time and again about this Chief Justice case from the very beginning, and there is, that is crystal clear. We often advocate about rule of law, due process of law, constitutionalism, okay, separation of power and check and balance. The whatever mentioned in the law, whatever mentioned in the constitution are to be thoroughly accompanied and strictly followed, succinctly followed. But they are not doing like that. Okay, they are trying to manipulate the spirit of the constitution. The sanctity of constitution, sacrosanct spirit of the constitution, they are trying to manipulate, and they are making explanatory note for their benefit. And this is what not fair at all.
And what do you think of those lawyers who have been making a blockade for the entrance of Chief Justice into the Supreme Court now?
Yes, that's what, if there is any sort of, discrepancies, anomalies, or any sort of irregularities in terms of law, we'll have to discuss. Okay, constitutionally those things are to be settled, but
Is that what? Is that what? In the spirit of law?
Then everyone, as you are watching it, as you are articulating it, and so people, they have been doing the similar way, isn't it? And all the people, okay, they have been speaking about the fact. As a lawyer, we have to respect the due process of law. Okay, in a court, especially Supreme Court. Supreme Court is the court of.
Let me be quite factual. Should Mr. Cholendra, what do you say, Samsir Rana be reinstalled, or should he go back to his duty, or?
No, from today the tenure is over.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tenure over. But we have been reinstating time and again by telling that, reiterating time and again that, if constitution, okay, or law says or expressly states or declares about his any sort of discrepancies, anomalies, or any sort of irregularities, he must be punished. He must be punished under the due process of law. But by putting allegations in so many things, it happens in a natural way, and people, they do this. Okay, so that sort of case or that sort of allegation should come in accordance with Constitution, because
the spirit
he
of
was
Constitution
appointed under the political hearing, okay, in accordance with the Article 292, political hearing, parliamentary hearing. If he has been appointed, there has been the special provision for impeachment. We often used to speak about that. We often used to advocate about that, and same thing happened. And if impeachment is not passed by 2/3 majority, so it is Parliament. Parliament does have prerogative power. If Parliament can't prove it, then Parliament failure means he is away from the allegation. So we have to respect. We have to respect the clean sheet as provided by, General Secretary, okay, of the Federal Parliament, Mr. Bharat Raj, Gautam. So these are the things we have been speaking as per the spirit of the Constitution and under the due process of law and procedure established by law. This is what I mean.
All right, Mr. Rai, the conventional political parties and the alternative political parties that have emerged so far, they have got certain differences, of course. That is why the alternative political parties have come.
Yeah, independent parties.
Independent parties have come. And even independent candidates are rising, so to say, in local election and all this. How far do you believe that they will go according to the spirit of Constitution?
They must go.
Must go, that is what
the Constitution.
But
Constitution is not that the particular, particularly associated with the vested interest of the particular parties, right? And the Constitution is the aspiration of the
we have seen the cases.
Aspiration of those people, who have got martyrdom, isn't it? And the aspiration of those people who have struggled a lot for bringing the peace, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's why.
These are all philosophical aspects, I do understand, but the conventional political parties, excuse me, sir, but the conventional political parties have been interpreting Constitution as per their vested interest. The time they like, they just dismantle, the parliament.
This is what is happening. We should be sure.
So, what do you think should be done then? What is the duty of lawyers like you, academicians like us, and the duties of commoners? What can be done?
Correct. So because of this kind of main political party, when they have been derailed from the main political or constitutional goal, they have not been able to play the role on behalf of people after having mandate from the people. They should have they should have reflected the interest of the people, as a representative of that people who have been mandated, who have been nominated, who have been elected. Shouldn't they reflect? They ought to reflect. They failed. They get mandated, elected, nominated by making so many promises and commitment to the people. General people, they believed, thinking that they might be genuine in their words and actions. But when they found differences, this is what the reason, as you have questioned me, that coming new parties or independent parties or independent candidates being chosen, being elected, being mandated, like Harka Shampan, like Balun Saha, in Ravi Lamichhane, and many others. Parties.
Let's hope they will follow
led
the
by
spirit
Ravi
of constitution,
Lamichhane. This
and
is
the
what.
constitution will not be interpreted as per their vested interest.
Correct.
We
They
do,
should
we
not
do
do.
have best
They
interest
should
for
not.
them.
Otherwise, people are there to give them the result through the electoral process.
Yeah.
And
The sovereign power lies upon
this
people.
is just trailer.
The picture is yet to come.
Real picture is yet to come.
All right. Let me go a little bit away from this topic. This another topic of law. Of course, females have to be, empowered. They have to be given their rights and all. Under no ground should violence be given, this priority. My point is, what do you think of this Mr. Lamichhane case and another, Prolsa case and all? What do you have to say?
It's very tough question to ask and very universal question to reply to, isn't it? As we say, ignorance of law is no excuse. As a law student, I must speak for law. That's why victims must get justice, but justice must be reciprocated with the philosophy of justice. Okay, there must not be any sort of discrepancies. I mean, sometimes if some people like in Palsa case and in Santi Lamichhane case, both cases are related to the rape case. Okay, and victims are expressly stating about so many things. But despite both cases, okay, under the rape case, Palsa case has been quite different. But different. Because Samiksha Adhikari has expressly stated it is a kind of allegation I was forced, I was manipulated by somebody else. Okay, so I was provoked. Okay, and I was asked by so many occasions by so many people, and I was compelled to express that way. But our relation was not like that, and the cases or circumstances that took place was quite different than the charge I allegedly pointed out to him. Okay, so he got clean sheet. But recent ongoing
I think
cases, we cannot.
I think Paul Sai is still in jail.
This case will be,
Is he still detained?
if I speak very deeper level, in accordance with law, it will be not so much pertinent so far as the case is in the court and
Okay.
subjudicated,
It might affect.
subjudicated case. Okay, so though we can say, if he hasn't been trapped under the honey trap plan, then the victim must get justice.
Okay.
Okay.
So Paul Sai
But-
is still there under custody.
Yeah. But if he has committed, okay,
The crime he has to
the
be
crime
punished.
he has to be punished.
He has to be sentenced. Okay.
As I told you, ignorance of law is no excuse.
And what about
Though
this?
we can. Some of the people, they are talking about to reform the rape case, and in terms of age bar, they are talking 16 years, okay, and 18 years. Had we made the previous issue of rape case time limitation 16 years, such situation could not have come, and this must be reformed. People are of the opinion, but whatever the term or time limitation that we make, but most important thing is we have to be very civilized. Okay, we have to be very concerned about law and order. We have to be very honest and accountable, and we have to find out things what I have to do for the society.
You have to be
for my
ethical,
family.
civilized,
Yeah,
and,
ethical, right.
and
These are things.
this,
Otherwise,
more also to say.
yeah. Otherwise, whatever law we make, but our ethical values, our morality goes in a rampant way, law makes no difference.
Yes.
The thing is, we have to maintain our
The dignity of a human being.
dignity
As
of
a human being, what are
Yeah.
the things we consider?
Yeah, that's why it is. Nothing is greater than humanity, and nothing is lesser than humanity. Okay, so humanity is bottom line. We need to be most rational human being.
I talked about this issue with some other guests as well. Do you think that moral values are degrading and inhuman behaviors are rampant? Talking about Surkhet case when a husband beheaded his wife. Talking about the Dhan case where a single woman was beaten by 15 other women. Where do you think the nation is going to, or our society is going to?
Actually, this is what crisis of humanity, and human beings. They have been, so much in that being affected with so many factors. Okay, and they have been so much, in a critical stage of this kind of human behavior and practices. What we see in the society in today's case, as you are talking about, that sort of beheading case in Surkhet and Dhan case, okay,
Murder
and
case.
murder case and corruption related case, okay,
Yes.
and so many issues about from the government side too, isn't it? The people actually they have not been to the extent of that humanity and to the extent of moral values and to the extent of decency to be maintained and their ethical values to be maintained in a way so that there could have been very conducive environment, harmonious environment.
Entirely crimeless society can never be imagined. Yes. That's another thing. But
humanitarian ground, right?
But the way we are facing those difficulties, the way we have noticed rampant crimes must be reduced. We are towards the end of the program. We talked about constitution, and we talked about rules of political parties and all. So, the last question. You are an academician. You are an author of various books. You teach in different colleges and aware people. What kind of aspirations have you seen in youths in order to be a lawyer or in order to study law?
Very nice question. This one is also very relatively associated with my profession, and thank you for asking this question too. And as I have been teaching different colleges, as a law teacher, and I prefer telling law student always, because learning process is always never-ending process. Still, I'm trying to get admitted in different university and have much more studies. So far, my experience is concerned teaching different colleges. These days, the students are increasingly going on in law faculty because people, they have been different parts of the globe, like Western countries, advanced countries like USA, UK, German, France, Canada, isn't it? Australia, and in those
and even the term of law student is increasing.
Okay. And law students are highly valued in those countries, and role of law students and the lawyers, law academicians, and legal fraternity have been always trend-setting and role model. And many people, like in the field of law, if you go through this, Mahatma Gandhi, isn't it? Not Nelson Mandela, and what do you see, Barack Obama, isn't it? And Abraham Lincoln, okay, and many other figures, isn't it? Even that is Vladimir Zelensky and Vladimir Putin. Even they are.
Was he also law student?
They are law students. They are
okay.
Lawyers, okay, and so this sort of
attraction is there.
Okay, they aspire to be a good leader. They aspire to be good professional and law student. That's why the charm of law in the law university and law colleges are increasingly going on, and I'm happy to see them. And many students, in spite of involving in engineering and medical sectors, they have been in law faculty, okay, BL and B classes. Even that, I find many people, after passing their master degree from humanity, sociology, and political science, even engineering, okay, medical science, they have come in law faculty. And
okay, that's really great.
So that's great.
That's really great. Despite your hectic time schedule, you have loved us and come to the studio of Aakash Television. I must extend my gratitude. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Bishwa sir, for giving me this sort of platform and sharing important ideas and many things we could have expressed much lively and different contemporary issues and current issues. But the question raised by you have been very important and hot cake, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Namaskar. As I have promised, I'm here with different experts from different areas. In the days to come as well, I'll continue the same one. Jai Hosh.